Can you imagine having to feed, clothe, and supply over 2 million citizens strictly through the use of airlifts? Now imagine trying to do that in the 1940s. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Berlin airlift, more specifically why it happened, how it was done, and what a massive undertaking it was. First, I'll start by reviewing the events following World War II that led to the Berlin airlift. Following World War II, Germany was split into the west and eastern parts. The west was taken over by the United States, France, and Great Britain, while the east was run by the Soviets. A four-part Allied Control Council was set up with the tasking of rebuilding Germany. By 1948, it was pretty clear that the west and the east had differing opinions on how that should be done, which led to tensions between the two. The Western powers wanted to establish a common currency throughout all of Germany, while the Soviets wanted to use the Soviet Reichsmark. The Soviet Union is actually promoting a recession in Germany in efforts to punish them for harsh treatment they received from the Germans during World War II. At the same time, the Soviets were also trying to push communism west throughout all of Germany, and the Western powers were trying to promote democracy. In a March 1948 meeting of the Allied Control Council, it was evident that no agreements could be reached on a unified currency or a quad-party control of Germany. An infuriated Marshal Sokolovsky and his Soviet delegation stormed out of the meeting. This led to the Western powers making the first move and going ahead and establishing their own currency in Western Germany. The Soviets retaliated by requiring all convoys moving west to be stopped and searched, which was denied by the Western powers. And on June 27, 1948, the Soviet Union shut down all land traffic to West Berlin, essentially blocking East Berlin from the rest of the world and cutting off all their supplies. With East Berlin cut off from the rest of the world and facing possible famine, the Western powers had a choice to make: the start of World War III or use British Commander Sir Brian Robertson's plan of resupplying East Berlin through airlifts. It was agreed that airlifts was the best way to go, and on June 27, 1948, the Berlin airlift kicked off. Due to agreement signed November 30, 1945, three 20-mile corridors to East Germany were established, which prevented the Soviets from stopping the airlift. It was calculated it would take 1,500 tons worth of food a day, not counting fuel and coal and other supplies, which would raise the actual total to 3,500 tons worth of supplies and food just to keep the country running and living. 102 C-47s and 54 C-54 Skymasters were initially assigned to start the operation. The C-47 had a capacity of 3.5 tons and the C-54 had a capacity of 10 tons. Here we have a picture of the C-54, which was able to carry 10 tons, and the C-47, only 3.5 tons, about a third as much as the C-10. In order to meet their goal, they constantly had to have aircraft taking off and dropping supplies into East Germany. The block system was developed, which consisted of 3 8-hour shifts, and that would have an aircraft taking off every 3 minutes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Eventually, they were able to cut that down to 3 minutes per takeoff. The three 20-mile corridors were the only avenue that could be used to get into the Eastern Germany. The Soviets weren't able to stop the Western powers from using the corridors, but that did not necessarily stop them at all. The Soviets would buzz the aircraft, shoot at them around them, and attempt to scare them off. These actions occurred on over 700 occasions. One of the largest problems during airlift was lack of manpower, and it was decided to use Germans to help supplement the workforce, and Germans were more than eager to help. Former Luftwaffe mechanics were used on teams to assist in maintaining aircraft alongside of an American maintenance supervisor and a translator. At the height of its campaign, nearly 6,500 tons were being dropped per day into Germany. On May 12, 1949, nearly 10 months after the airlift began, the Soviets lifted the blockade. The Western powers had succeeded in outlasting and defeated Soviets without firing a single shot. Now I can go over what a massive undertaking this operation really was. The Berlin airlift was the largest operation of its kind in history. The airlift required the combined work of the United States, Great Britain, and France. Combined, there was over 600 aircraft used in the operation. At the height of the Berlin airlift, there was an aircraft reaching East Berlin every 30 seconds. The total mileage covered by those flights totaled 92 million miles, which is about distance from the Earth to the Sun. At the end, nearly 2.4 million tons of supplies were delivered on 278,000 flights. To get a better idea of how much that is, the average American tractor trailer can only carry 22 to 24 tons worth of cargo. Doing the math, that would take over 100,000 tractor trailers to ship that to East Berlin to keep them going for those 10 months. You got to figure they're doing that using aircraft with a max capacity of 10 tons. The cost of the Berlin airlift was, in today's dollars, $2.4 billion. As you can see, the Berlin airlift was a very large and costly undertaking. So today I reviewed with you the Berlin airlift, more specifically going over why it happened, how it was done, and what a massive undertaking it truly was. I hope through my speech today I was able to give you an idea of how massive of an undertaking it was. And I've also provided some websites for anyone interested in learning more about it. Thank you for your time.